For a circular crochet cast on, we need to start with a crochet hook that's about the same size as the needles that you're going to use for your project. So we want to start by taking our yarn and wrapping it over your left index finger so that the tail is coming off the front of your index finger and the working yarn is coming off the back. Grab a hold of the tail and wrap it around your finger again so that you have 2 loops around your finger. The tail is still in the front. Hold on to the tail with your thumb and your middle finger to create a little bit of tension, and the working yarn with your last 2 fingers to create a little bit of tension on that yarn. With the crochet hook, we're going to go underneath the tail yarn and grab the working yarn and just pull it underneath the tail so that, and keep it on the hook, and then the tail is crossed over top of the working yarn. With the hook, we're going to go over top of the tail and grab the working yarn again so that we have 2 loops on the hook. I'm then going to take this one that's closest to the tip of the hook and pass it through the second one. There we go, to create our first stitch. Then we now have a firmer loop that's around your finger, and then the tail is still coming off the front and the working yarn is off the back. So this second yarn is going to be your working yarn. This is the loop that's going around your finger, and now down here this is the tail. So I'm going to go underneath the loop now, just the loop, there we go, and grab the working yarn and pull it back through the loop so that it's hooked around the needle. I'm then going to go over top of the loop again and grab the working yarn. So I have now 3 loops on the needle. Now this is where I like to take my finger out of the loop because I just find it a little bit easier to work if I can use my fingers more. So what we need to do now is to pass this second loop over top of the first one. I find it easiest to do it with my fingers. If you're a little bit better crocheter, you can probably do that without your fingers. So now we have 2 stitches on the crochet hook. We have this nice loop down here that the stitches are going around. We're going to keep adding our stitches around this loop. So I'm going to take the crochet hook and I'm going to go through the loop and grab the working yarn that I'm now holding on to and pull it back through the loop. Then I'm going to go over top of the loop and grab the working yarn again, and then I'm going to pass the second stitch over top of the first one, and I now have 3 stitches on the needle. Now my loop is starting to get a little small, so all I have to do is pull on that, and you can see it's pulling up the tail to create a bigger loop. So grabbing onto the working yarn again, I'm going to go with my crochet hook through the loop and grab the working yarn, and over top of the loop and grab the working yarn again, pass one over top, the second one over top of the first one, and I'm going to continue to do that, going through the yarn, through the loop, and grab the working yarn and pull it back through the loop, then go over top of the loop and grab the working yarn again, pass one over top, and I can just keep pulling on this and making it bigger as long as I need, as long as I have stitches or I don't pull the tail out. The tail is going to get shorter and shorter as you make this loop bigger and bigger, so you want to make sure that you don't pull the tail clear out of the loop. So let's see, how many stitches do I have? 2, 4, 6, I'll do one more. Like so. Then when I have 9 stitches, or however many stitches you're using, I'm going to slide those down to the end of the crochet hook and just slip them onto my knitting needle so I can start to work in the round. Slip 3 onto the first, needle, 3 onto the second needle, and 3 onto the last needle. Now I'm ready to knit into the round. So I have my 3 needles worth of stitches, all with the line of the loop in the center. And here is the loop that we were crocheting around. So all I have to do now is pull on this tail, and it pulls the loop closed. You can see it's getting smaller now. So it's if you knit a couple of rounds, so that this is not right on the needles, then you can finish pulling that tail tight, and you can see now that I have a nice little ring of stitches and there is no more hole.